What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. We got the vibe curator down here. He can't get up on the couch over there because I'm hanging pictures later, and I got them all spread out on the back couch. So he is not back there. But we have a really cool episode today. We got Bre Drake. If you have seen some of the logos, t-shirt designs in the industry, the Tibor reels, the Ables with the inscription on them, you've probably seen some of Bre's work. Super cool stuff. We got a super cool episode coming with Bre. But before we get into that, I want to thank these show partners: Cordina Eyewear, Yeti Coolers, Trout Routes, and a Fwetta of coffee. If you would like to have your Cordina shades shipped for free, use code RISE_flies CLT at checkout. Now for the interview with Bre Drake. What's up, guys? Like I said in the intro, we do have an interview today, and pretty cool one. If you don't know who this is, you've probably seen some of her artwork, and you will quickly know who she is when she introduces herself. So I'm gonna kick it over to you. Let you introduce yourself a little bit, Bre.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bre Drake, and gosh, I shouldn't assume that everyone knows who I am in the fly fishing world, but gosh, I guess some of the things that would stand out. I'm a golden retriever lover. My husband is Wild Drake of Drake Boatworks, which we established before we started recording. I had to laugh because social media is so funny, where people follow you and they watch your every day-to-day life, and you're thinking, like, this person must know everything about me. They're seeing this story, they're seeing this post, but people it doesn't click. And I've had people ask me over the years, just like you, are you associated with Drake Boatworks? Are you a Drake Boatworks ambassador? And I laugh so hard because I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I am a Drake Boatworks ambassador. Yeah. I'm married into Drake Boatworks, so that was really funny. So yeah.
Dude, I literally didn't know that until right when I asked you.
Well, that's good, because I feel like if you were going to ask me, they're so mysterious, the Drake brothers and Drake Boatworks. So had you done your homework, you probably would have prepared some more questions. But feel free to ask what you want. I'll answer what I can. Yeah, they are mysterious and kind of secretive. It's like the allure of the brand. Yeah,
it is cool that way though. Like, you're starting to see that with more like skiff companies where they are just kind of like secretive, and it's like a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of skiffs, or like there's some, especially down in Florida, they're just built like in someone's garage.
Yeah.
Like, one of my best friends builds aluminum skiffs and is built in a shop in his backyard.
I mean, that's kind of how Drake Boatworks started. I think it was just like a little shed. There's no climate control. They were sweating to death, miserable, or freezing in the winter. And now it's in a location that you would never guess that these high-end skiffs are made in a building that is so unassuming you would never know. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dude, so to your art, it has been so cool to see some of like the collabs that you've done and stuff like that. Like those Tibor reels that like they're kind of starting to laser etch like your artwork into it are unbelievable. Yeah. How does that process go? Like, do you have to sketch something up, or do you have like an idea? Do they give you like a little paper reel where you can, not scribble on it, but do your artwork on it?
I mean, you're kind of on the right track. So yeah, that's been some of my favorite projects. It's so funny. I kind of like fell into graphic design. You obviously don't know much about me, so let me just kind of give you a quick resume. So I went to school for accounting and business. Like, I got a bachelor's in accounting, a master's in business. I worked as an auditor for a couple of years, and then I worked for Verizon for like 6 years in finance and accounting. And during that time, I was fly fishing and fishing, and just kind of fell in love with the beauty of the outdoors, and that led me to photography. So when I met Wilds, and he was in a different state, I had pretty much grown up in Florida. So I met Wilds and knew I'd ultimately be moving to South Carolina. So I'd have to leave my job at Verizon in accounting. And when I moved up here and started interviewing with different finance and accounting type firms and companies, Wilds is like, you hated that. You don't want to do that anymore. Like, let's take this time and this opportunity to pursue something you really like. And that was just never something that ever dawned on me. I was kind of like that typical millennial that just picked a major, went to school, and this is what I do for the rest of my life. And Wilds was obviously brought up with a very much like entrepreneurial mindset. So that was hard for me to get my head around. But I thought, you know what? I did really hate that life. I hated being in a cubicle inside all day under fluorescent lights. It was just like soul sucking. I could do the work, but it was horrible. So I took his advice. So my first creative passion was photography. Like while I was working in the accounting world, I was doing photography, like wildlife stuff for myself, photographing friends and family. So that was like, okay, this is the one thing I'm good at. That's not accounting or finance. I'm going to try and do that. And this was 2019. So obviously, I had to physically meet with people in person to photograph them. So COVID happened, and that kind of dampened all of my photography plans. Um, but in that photography journey, I was looking to find someone to create a brand identity for me, like some way to visually represent myself. And I learned that I couldn't afford that. Like my little photography business was in no way going to be able to justify several $1,000 bill for getting a design work done. So things kind of started clicking where I thought, I was familiar with the Adobe suite, Lightroom,
Right.
Photoshop for editing photos. And there's other software in the Adobe suite that allows you to do graphic design work. So I'm like, I could teach myself this. The functionality is probably the same. I think I can do this. So long story short, I kind of taught myself. I had a lot of imposter syndrome because it was not something I went to school for. And I was doing I was so scared to put myself out there because it was something new that I was bidding jobs on like Upwork and Fiserv. I don't know if you've heard of these, but people from like all over the world will post little jobs and you go and bid the jobs. So I was doing the most awful graphic design work that no one will ever see. So anyway, taught myself all of that, learned that there was some really bad design work out there, and I had this epiphany, and I forget where it started. I forget who told me about it, but I learned that you could take an iPad and draw on it with an Apple Pencil and like digitize this artwork and make it pretty in Adobe software, Adobe Illustrator. So that was just like opened a whole new portal for me. I'm like, okay, this is so much more my style. I'm not really capable of that really sterile graphic, like traditional logo style work. Mine is more artwork that I want to share with the world. So once that happened, I just started playing around with making different, like fly fishing and travel inspired artwork that was just special to me. And I totally kept it to myself. And I forget how long that went on, probably a few months. And one day I just decided to show some of the work to Wilds. I'm like, yeah, what do you think of this? And he was just like, this is awesome. What are you doing? You need to share this with people. And I was like, no way, I'm not putting this out there. Like, that's not who I am. People would see this artwork and be like, what is she doing? This makes no sense. But that's basically what I did. I just threw it in an Instagram story. I think my first design that I put out publicly was what I named Palometa Marg. So it was inspired by fly fishing in Mexico, which is one of my most favorite things. But it was just, a tailing permit in a margarita glass. I threw it out there on Cinco de Mayo one day, and it just started like getting traction. And people that were acquaintances that had been following me for a long time started asking me to do or logos for them. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So long story short, it was just never planned, never expected. And that's how I got into it. So, doing the reels, to get back to the original point here, I just never saw that being a possibility. It's been crazy how many things I've had the opportunity to work on, but the reels have been really fun. And so Nick Davis, I'm not actually working directly with Abel or Tibor on these, but Nick Davis of 239 and 843, he reached out to me, asking if I wanted to do it. And I think, as far as I knew, I don't think Tibor really had anyone doing design work on their reels yet. So I had to kind of make a template for them myself. And you kind of just base it off the reel. I think Abel provided me with a template. So it's just a template, just an outline. And then I go into it, like my creative process was obviously drawing from experiences, drawing from things that I really pick up on that I feel like a lot of people might not. Like I'm just a total nature nerd. So I really like to include elements from places I've been, flora and fauna wise. And then obviously incorporate like the key species from whatever area, whatever theme that the reel is for. And yeah, it just becomes a fun little like puzzle piece mirroring act of getting all the elements in a really cool way in a circular design.
Dude,
That was a long answer. I'm sorry about
no,
that.
it is completely fine. See,
Yeah.
I love listening to stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I love hearing the background of that. Because it's like I didn't know that's what all went into those reels, dude. But like, shout out to Nick and Jimbo. Those are two great dudes. They're so funny. But
yeah, I remember Nick. Gosh, I started following Nick early in my fly fishing journey back when he was doing the live fly tying. Did you follow him? Where he was always wearing like the sleeveless or the cutoff t-shirts, and yeah, I remember those days. So I'm just so proud of him and where he's taken 239 flies.
It was on the fly box, wasn't it? I forget which one it was, but it was like I was rewatching like a video. I was tying some flies for somebody, and I was rewatching a video that like I watched when I was like learning how to tie. I was like, I need a refresher. Like I haven't tied one of these in fucking ages. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, that's Nick Davis. I never knew that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had quite his little, what was he call it? His fuzzy empire started very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's just kind of taking over, which I love.
It is really cool. But you're like, you were saying that you started like using the Adobe suite.
Yeah.
Like my thing, I suck at art, and I just I got an iPad for my birthday, and I downloaded Procreate, and I'm looking at some of this stuff I'm drawing. Like I drew like a Grateful Dead bear with like waders and a fly rod, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like pardon my French.
Ideas there. That's where it starts. Yeah.
I was like, dude, what is this? But it's like, I looked at it, I was like, this is better. Like I traced out like the Grateful Dead bear, and I'm like, this is better than me even doing this freehand. I was like, it makes it really like easy, not easy, but it makes it easier for somebody like myself that sucks at art, that has fine motor delay. It makes it like a little bit easier. Like I've been toying around with like all sorts of stuff. Like I do have fine motor delay, and I'm just like, dude, like I can't draw on a piece of paper to save my ass. But like,
what does that mean? What is that?
So like
for you,
it's tough. Like so when I was in elementary school, I was told I had some like crazy like learning disability that essentially like I'm horrible at math. They told me I never was going to graduate college or like or shit like that. Long story short. But
look at you now.
Dude, like it's tough. Like a lot of people are like, dude, how do you tie flies? I'm like, dude, you should see how long it takes for me to tie a fly. Like, and but it's like my fingers and like hands, I am not good at like, I couldn't fold a piece of paper correctly until I was like 10 years old. I'm not even messing with you.
No, I believe you. That's so
couldn't tie my shoes for a long time. I had to use Velcro shoes, but like my hands just when I was younger were not the greatest.
Yeah.
But like,
so you found yourself now tying flies.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's helped you?
It does kind of. Like,
like I wonder if that's helped improve it a little bit.
It probably has. Like my mom was sitting there like watching me tie a fly one day. I was over at their house and I was like tying up flies. Yeah. She was like, dude, like you have
what is the condition again? What do you call it?
So it's called nonverbal learning disability is what I have. But my mom was like, dude, like you couldn't fold a piece of paper when you were 7 years old. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, but that was one of those things. Like my art teachers always despised me because they were like, dude, like you can't turn this in. Like you're drawing stick figures, playing football. But like, it's been kind of one of those cool things to like learn. But like a lot of the cool stuff is like seeing other people's like identity. Like I can look at like a piece of artwork that like you've done like a lot of the 843 shirts, and then Jackson Bland's like logos. I was like, oh, Bre Drake definitely did that.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say
And
that.
like
Yeah.
Mac Elliott's logo too. Mac Elliott, another one that's a great person.
I love her. Yeah.
But like, so how did you kind of like form your identity in art, kind of thing? Like, yeah, that distinct like style. I think that's something that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I feel like anyone who's up and coming doing this artwork, maybe looking to pursue something similar, I know that's something you're going to struggle with, because I know when I was looking to like role models or mentors, I would see their work and I felt the same way. Like I can recognize their work like that. Like I know it's like the colors, the font choices, just like the illustration style itself. So that was something I always wanted and was like always working towards, because I feel like the evolution is probably similar amongst most people, where you kind of start out by sort of maybe not intentionally, but just because someone else has paved the way, you're kind of trying to imitate a style that you like. And that is perfectly okay. And anyone who's reached out to me worrying that something's too similar to me, I'm like, go for it. I'm like, that's how you have to start. Like, you have to start somewhere. And then I just can't explain it. It's probably like just energetics or magic or something, where it just something happens where you just kind of find your groove and find your style. And maybe it's not even so much as an artistic style. Maybe it's something from an efficiency standpoint that you do that just becomes part of your style. Like, I know I'm very big on not having any harsh angles or corners in my work. So I will literally go in and like smooth out and round out any hard angles. I hate it. I'm like a total perfectionist about it. So yeah, I really don't have a good answer for how to do that. It's just doing the work. It's just doing more and more work. And the more, I guess, the more experience you get, like the more that stuff that you were kind of borrowing from other people that you like just kind of falls away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
you
total
start
sense.
finding your true self. I think it just comes with time.
100. I feel
Same
like
with
that's kind of
photography,
that's something for like everything too, where it's like, you know, like you could look at something or somebody and be like, oh yeah, I want to dress like that, and then it's like, I start like it's kind of like crazy. Like I dress, I wear like Widespread Panic like t-shirts and Grateful Dead like tie-dyes, and then people are like, dude, where are you getting all these t-shirts? And I'm like, I just find them, like, and
just speak to me.
I was like, I find them online, and I'm like, you know, I kind of like that. And but like when I was younger, like I was imitating kids, like how they dressed in school. I was like, dude, I just look like somebody else, like anyone else in school. And I was like, once I broke out and like kind of found like my thing, I was like, I'm just gonna keep riding this wave.
I think it just kind of comes with maybe age and experience, and then like confidence going up in what you're doing, and eventually you're just like, yeah, this is me. I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah. Or I just quit giving a damn or something like that. I forget what it was.
But there's certainly works. I did a lot of work for people, you know, did logo work for individuals and their businesses. I've done designs for apparel and obviously the reels. And so I completely lost my train of thought.
No, you're good.
So yeah, I would do, let's see, what were we talking about? Oh, finding your style. And so I would do in my spare time, if I had spare time, some of my favorite work was where I could just sit down and create something just for me, or is like get inside Bre's brain and just came out with just a random design that no one paid me for. And there's definitely times where there's things that I thought, I can't share this with the world. This is so weird and so out there. People aren't going to get it. Like this combination doesn't even make sense. But yeah, over time, you just start getting so much more confident. And that's the kind of stuff that really helps set you apart. And then as soon as you realize that there's other people out there that are feeling it, you're like, okay, I can start incorporating this in my client work now. And it just kind of becomes your thing. Usually it's the thing you're most worried to share because it's the most you.
Yeah, usually that's kind of how I am too. I'm like, I have like a kind of like a little intro montage that I've like queued up for this. I've spent like 20 minutes trying to do it on like what's it called? Not CapCut. It's on the iPad Premiere. Premiere. I drew it all up in there. I'm like, man, I haven't really had I was like, I don't really want to put this out there yet because I don't know if the copyright, if like I'm gonna get in trouble. Because it's like if
Yeah.
Eric Clapton's like playing the guitar with a cigarette, and it's and then it cuts to like a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I might get copyrighted for that. But I looked at it, I was like, damn, that's cool as hell. I was like, I gotta go and do that. I gotta go and put it up there now.
Sorry.
But
Sorry about that.
you're good. You're talking about like doing stuff for just you. Like, I think I talked to Paul Puckett about the same thing where he's like, yeah, man. He's like,
fine. Come here. Sorry, let me calm him down.
oh, you're good.
Okay, bud. Hey, playing right here. Why so good? There's not even anything there, probably. All right, sorry. So you were talking to Paul Puckett. He's a good buddy of mine too.
He's a cool dude, and he's
Yeah.
he's like some of the stuff that I do that's like just for me, and he's like I'm just sitting down like writing words, and then he's like, and then all of a sudden he's like, you've probably seen it where it's like he writes a bunch of different words and it like forms into a person. He's like, it was the coolest thing. He's like, I just kind of started doing that, and he's like, and it kind of stuck, and he's like, I just kept doing it, and now he's got like 1,000 of them. I was like, he's another guy that like you can look at his stuff and be like, oh yeah, it's Paul Puckett painting.
100%. Yeah, he's definitely someone that I looked up to, especially when it came to like those drawings that were just combining things that just don't really make sense together. Like he's so clever. So I was really inspired by how clever he was. He's one of those people where it's just not fair how much talent he has, and he needs to share some with everybody else. He can sing, he can play guitar, he can paint, he can sketch, he can draw, he can fish. Like he's just such a talented dude. And he's such a good dude too.
He is. He's such a fun dude to be around too. Like I was down there for I went to the Cast and Drafts event at Seawee last year, but I think it was at like the boat rack, I think it is over there near the Ravenel Bridge.
Yeah,
I was there and we all were like hanging out. I was down there. I had my girlfriend with me. Damn, dude.
Is it your dog too?
Nah,
he must have heard, huh?
That's the plumber back there.
Oh,
there. I'm trying to figure out.
I thought it was your dog panting or breathing because you were talking about it.
He's down in his crate. And
he's
I got him from work and he was going crazy. I guarantee you my girlfriend lets him up here in a few seconds.
Yeah.
But he's
now
usually
more like a plumber.
he's usually in the background to like every single episode. Like I posted one yesterday and at one point I turned around and I heard him like doing something and he was licking himself back there. I'm like, damn, dude.
They have the best timing.
I was like, damn, dude. Yeah. Like, thanks, pal. But dude, yeah, he does have so much talent, but it's like he's just a funny dude, like fun dude to be around. Cause like I was there for Soulfly too, and I was sitting up at the bar coming to grab a beer. I'm a big Boston Red Sox fan.
Awesome.
And he comes up and he's
like,
like,
in Massachusetts, actually.
Yeah. You were?
Yeah, I was.
What part?
Didn't spend long there. I was born in Weymouth.
Oh, no way.
I think it might have been the same hospital. What's his name from Blow? I think he was born in the same hospital.
Oh, shoot. Who was
Johnny Depp's character. I can't remember the name, but
Blown Away?
Yeah, I grew up on Red Sox. My dad's from New England, and he's a huge Red Sox fan.
You ever seen the movie Blown Away? With
no.
Dude, so that's a big Boston movie. It's a great movie.
I gotta write that down too.
So my parents, like my full name's Ryan Garrity, and my parents always get the question. They're like, "Did you name him after the dude in Blown Away?" It's like a movie like The Town, where it's like it's kind of like the crime movie.
Yeah, I love The Town.
Yeah, I was born in Winchester, and I'm a huge Red Sox fan. I'll get back on the story, but he comes up and he's like, "Rough year for the Red Sox, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, don't get me started, Paul."
Oh man, that's so funny.
Dude, I'm actually going up there in October. I want to go and catch a striper, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Have you ever caught striper before?
I have before.
Okay.
I love fishing up there.
Yeah. So we haven't done it. We've been talking about going up there. We had talks of like swooping up there to New England on our way back from Montana this year. Last week, but we didn't do it. We're like, it's just so dang hot up there too. What are we going to do? But one of these days we'll bring a skip up there because we've got buddies that tell us how amazing it could be on the flats up there.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
So my cousin's actually getting married on the Cape, and my uncle Kevin was down here for my brother's wedding, and he's like, bring up a 9 weight. And I was like, are you going to bring a 9-weight with you? It's your daughter's wedding, dude. He's like, I will
Yeah.
not have a 9-weight, but I need somebody there with a 9-weight.
Oh, nice. I love that. So you
But
got the fishing bug from your dad too, most likely.
so I got it actually like my Uncle Kevin and my dad kind of like I was the only one that really like took a liking into fishing when I was a kid, like
Yeah.
fishing, hunting, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I used to wake my dad up on Sunday mornings before church. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go fishing. Call Uncle Kevin, let's go fishing. And then we go
Yeah.
up to like my shoot. I don't even remember if it was like an uncle or something like that. He lived up on a lake just full of
Yeah.
leeches in New Hampshire. And I
Oh,
used to
gross.
it
No.
was
No, no.
disgusting.
This thing's really
Disgusting lake.
freaking out. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I used to go fishing for smallmouth up there. And I just kind of like fell in love with it up there, given that one day we almost sank a John boat out there with like 4 people on it.
Oh, that's
But like, yeah, I
terrifying.
kind of my uncle and my dad both kind of influenced me. I kind of got my dad more into it than
Yeah.
but yeah, my Uncle Kevin always grew up fishing and stuff like that. So like I kind of started talking with him about it, and I fell in love with fishing myself. And then he actually showed me my first fly rod, and I was like,
Oh.
that looks fun.
Mhm.
Then I started
Yeah.
getting more and more into it, and yeah, it's just like there were times where I'm like, man, I wish I was up in Massachusetts. I could go and like fish Vermont and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then that whole striper thing, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
But
I imagine
damn,
they're similar to redfish, would you say?
I don't know if there's a spot for
No?
redfish up there. I'm not
No, I'm
sure.
saying, are they similar? Sorry, are the
Oh,
striper
n-
fishing similar to the
I
redfish and
thought
how,
you
like,
were
their
saying are there
behavior?
redfish
No,
up in New
no,
England? I
no.
was like, there might be some up there somewhere. I was
Yeah, I
like, if
think there's
anyone could
some pretty
find it,
far
it'd
north,
probably be.
but I don't know about that far. Yeah.
But I don't know if they tail.
Yeah.
I've actually caught like a river run striper in
Okay.
South Carolina, like up at down at the
Oh,
Saluda, and then I've
oh, yeah,
caught like
yeah.
a river run striper up north a little bit. And
Yeah.
I want to get out and catch like the big ones. So, like, do you know Joe Gugino? He's
Wow.
he's Fish Boston. He's a cool dude. If you're up there and you want to go
Okay.
catch a striper,
Okay.
he's Fish Boston,
Fish
and
pond. Yeah, all my notes over here.
he's a dang good striper fisherman up there.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I love it up there. There are days where I'm like a day like today where I'm like, all right, it's probably 70 degrees up there.
I know.
And I look at the news, I'm like, damn, it's actually like I was listening. I come home on lunch and I listen to WEEI every day, and they were like, oh yeah, it's 98 degrees at Pat's camp today. I'm like, maybe I don't want to be up there.
Oh, no. Yeah, this heat is brutal. I'm like, I always joke around. I love everyone, but these people that love summer, I'm like, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I'd rather
You
it be
love summer
snowing.
in the Southeast. It's so rough, or even on the East Coast in general. It's awful.
Oh, it
They've
stinks.
conditioned us to think summer is so great, but it is rough.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so
So
rough.
I
Yeah.
know you've done like collabs with like Free Fly
Mhm.
and like we were talking Mac Elliott and
Yeah.
843. What has
And
been like one of
239
your
and
favorite collabs or
Marshwear.
like
I've done some work for Marshwear. Yeah.
Marshwear? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another big brand. Um
Yeah.
that's been your favorite one was Marshwear?
Oh, I'm sorry. You kinda broke up, so I couldn't hear your
Oh shoot,
question.
my bad.
Are
I'm
you
sorry about
asking
that.
what my favorite one was?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh gosh. Yeah, like my favorite of all time?
Favorite of all time.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I can choose that. I really don't. Only because I'm, like, still a little bit of a recovering people pleaser, and I don't wanna hurt anyone's feelings, but, um, I there's definitely work that I love. The whole graphic design experience, so let's see, I've been doing it for 5 years now, and we'll get to this, but I'm kind of stepping away, at least temporarily, maybe forever. But, there are there's been so many wonderful people that I've connected and worked with, but just like in any industry, there's been some awful people that I've
Oh
had to work
yeah.
with, you know, and it's tricky too, being like a graphic designer that's just kind of getting a set of instructions, meeting the goal, meeting the needs, and they're kind of like it's almost like the client is controlling the graphic designer's
Yeah.
hand. There's that, and then there's people like me who, like you've noticed, I have a specific style. It's more like art, and it's kind of more of a situation where you're hiring me for my specific style, and you kind of got to trust me. And most people
Right.
are great with that, but some people are just terrible at doing that, and that's where it could be such a grind. But I would say overall, just worked with some of the greatest people, and I think that um, one of my most favorites is Ladies Tarpon Fly logo that I did for Kaylee Fordyce down there. It's been God, I think it's been 3 years running, at least 2 years that they're using the same logo. That's been one of my favorites. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The idea where it's like just two lady anglers and they kind of have a tarpon scale like a fan. That was
Yeah,
one of my favorites. I just
that
thought
was a cool
it was
one.
really creative. I really took a chance, and Kaylee was like all about it. So
Did you do
that's
the Lady Red one too?
I did the most recent Lady Red.
That's
I
what
did
I
not
thought you
do
did
the
the one
original.
last year.
I did the recent one. Yeah. The original is awesome too. I forget the artist that did that, but I love that one. They were just looking for something a little more simple to put on hats and things. That was really like my uh why I was why a lot of people sought me out was my work looked really good in a single color and was really simple, so it translated well to like patches and embroidery and things like that.
Yeah,
So
the one that you did. So like we talked about Jackson earlier. I went to high school
yeah.
with Jackson.
Oh,
Oddly
you
enough,
didn't?
yeah, I went to
Oh
high
my
school with
god.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Such a good
Oh,
dude.
Emily too then.
Yeah, I
Did
went
they
to
yeah.
yeah, I went to school with Emily too.
Oh,
And Jackson actually lived in my neighborhood. What you did
yeah.
with Trail Cowboy Collective, that is the coolest logo.
Yeah, and
I
that's one of my favorites too, like, it really is, because that was really early on, so that's when I was just having people really take a chance on me, so I did that one for Jackson, and that's still even though that was early, there's some of my early work that makes me cringe, but that's one that I'm just so proud of and love, and I'm glad it went to a good friend of mine.
dude,
Yeah.
I think when I saw him post that, like I was kind of on the fence about trying to start
Yeah.
something. I was like, dude, like who did that for you?
No, yeah.
And that's how I found out who you were, was through
Okay.
that logo like
Okay,
years
so Jackson
back.
gets credit, yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's such a good dude. You see, he had a
They just had their
kid.
baby, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We were in Montana still when he was born, but we left a couple days later, so we didn't get a chance to meet him in person, but, he's I'm so happy for them. They're
I
gonna
am
be the best
too.
parent.
He's
Yeah.
such a cool. He's such a
He's
cool dude.
actually he plays a big role in how and why we go out west every summer. So back to, his dad had one of the first Drake skiffs, and when Wilds and I were first started dating, we flew out to Montana together. We'd never been. We rented a Tacoma with like a Go Fast camper rooftop tent on it, and we didn't know anything about it, but we knew that Wilds' client, Matt, had a son named Jackson who had just started guiding in Southwest Montana. So we're like, we're going to have him take us fishing. so, so we fished with Jackson, and it's hilarious because the first day he took us fishing, we drove like an hour, more than an hour, to go put the boat in and realize he didn't have the oars.
Oh,
So we still give him shit about that to this day. And it's not like he forgot them. I guess he and his dad had fished the day before, if I remember correctly. And his dad kind of got in his little like interrupted his process, and his dad moved the oars off to the side and they just left him at the
oh,
takeout. So that happened, and that was just hilarious because he's grown so much as a guide ever since. That was in 2018, so a very long time ago.
dude.
But, we were there for 4 days and he made us fall in love with it, and we've been going back every year ever since. We eloped in the same area the next year, and now every year we're just staying out there longer and longer.
Oh man.
We hate the heat here, so
Yep. Dude,
yeah.
I do the same thing. He was
Yeah.
one of the very first guests I ever had on this podcast. Like when I
Oh
got
my
comfortable
gosh.
enough,
Yeah.
I look back on it and I was like, dude, I gotta have. He's like in person. Neither
Oh
of
my
us had
god.
microphones. We were
No.
using the microphone from the laptop. And
Hey, that's okay.
I look back on it, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I owe him a way better episode next time he's in North
Oh,
Carolina.
yeah, yeah. It'd be good to get him back on. I had no idea he was your first. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. When
Dude,
did you start your podcast?
I started it 2 years ago, I think. Like
Okay.
I was telling you earlier, I started it just kind of
Yeah.
like I was like, I'll give it like a trial run. I was like, I was
Yeah.
dating my girlfriend very early on. I was like, I was
Yeah.
talking to her about fishing and fly fishing. She's like, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I can totally relate to that.
I was like, all right, if I
Yeah.
want her to stick around, I was like, I'm gonna have to figure something out. Like,
Yeah. Well,
not talking
I
to her off.
started, I told you I was familiar with, this website that you use because I have a podcast of my own that's not fly fishing. It's in like the holistic dog health world.
Oh, cool.
And for the same reason, I kind of started it because I just love talking about it so much. Wild is getting so tired of hearing about it. And I'm like, I might as well start recording all of these things. I'm obsessed with learning and sharing what I've learned. So I did the same thing. I totally get it.
Yeah, it's been fun
Yeah.
though. It's like I've
Yeah,
connected with
it's really
some new
cool.
people. I've made more
Uh-huh.
friends than I've ever thought I was gonna make post
Yeah.
grad. And
Yeah.
dude, but like it's been cool. I've had some like fun opportunities and stuff like that came from it, and I'm just kind of like taking it one step at a time, keeping it original. So,
Exactly.
but
Exactly. Yeah.
you hit on it a little bit earlier. Like I kind
Yeah.
of see it with doing some stuff like this. Like I've loved every guest I've had on, but like there's some absolutely great people in the industry that I'm sure like hey, like give you an idea and be like, hey, let your mind run with it. And then having people like literally sit there and you're like, you know what, you might as well be like making my hand draw what you want, dude. Like
Exactly.
I can't stand shit like that. Like, pardon my friends, I can't
No.
stand that. Like, especially if like you're a creative person and stuff like that. It's one of those things. It's like just trust the process, dude. Like, kind of stay. Let me do my like. Let me cook a little bit. You know.
Let me cook. Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
it's crazy because like you were saying it earlier. It's like there are some awesome people. Like I'd say like 98% of the people, maybe a little less than that. Like
Yeah.
not 90% of the people I meet are awesome. And then there are some that like I'll have like a conversation with and I'm just like, there's something there that like is kind of there's no easy way to say it. It's kind of scummy.
Yeah.
Like kind of scummy.
That's a bummer. And you're like, I'm stuck with this. And you're like, do I air this interview still?
Yeah,
Do I
I've
even
aired
want to
every
do it?
single one of them. But
Good for
like
you. Good for you.
it's one of those things like there's definitely some like the industry's in like a weird area, I think. Like very, very weird.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So like I mentioned, um, I I'm finishing up my last 2 clients right now. Maybe not forever in the graphic design world, but I've kind of been in 2 different worlds. So 2 years ago, my 2 golden retrievers that were like my identity. I don't know if you remember seeing them or called me during that time, but they both passed away from cancer within 5 months of each other. And like after I've lost family to cancer, friends, there's people I know now, they're like closer to our age that are fighting cancer. And then that was just kind of like the last straw for me where I'm like, I learned so much through that journey with them. And it led me to like this whole other side of caring for dogs where I'm like, I could spend my life learning about this and helping people understand this and do this. So graphic design was paying the bills while I was building this entire other community centered around dog health. So for the last couple of years, I've kind of been trying to do both.
Yeah.
And it's finally to a point now where I'm like going to almost completely pursue this dog stuff for a while. And not because I don't love the fly fishing world. I'm still going to be very much in it. I'm always going to be passionate about fly fishing. I'll probably still do some design projects if the right people come along and ask me. But having said all that, like it's kind of allowed me to view the industry as an outsider a little bit more.
Yeah.
And there is some strange goings on in that world.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Have you ever seen, gosh, I think it's called The Listers?
Yes, the bird watching guys.
Bird one. And have you heard they're going to do a documentary on the fishing world?
No way.
Not fly fishing specifically, although I'm sure they'll touch on it. But how good is that going to be?
Dude, that's awesome. That's going to be cool.
It's gonna be
Dude,
so funny.
the
Yeah.
funny thing about that, I watched
Yeah.
that. So I think it was Vince Stigura from Skinny Water Culture on, and
Okay.
he
Yeah.
told me to go and watch it.
Oh my
And
God.
he was
It's so good.
talking to me about
Yeah.
birding and how he's
Yeah.
like a big time bird watching guy. Dude,
Uh-huh.
he got
Me
like my
too.
wheels
Yeah.
turning. I have a live view bird feeder outside
Yeah. I
in
have
my
one of those
backyard
too.
now.
Yeah, it's like Bird Buddy or something.
Yes, I have the
Yeah.
exact same one.
Yeah. You
And
crossed over. Are you a millennial?
yes.
Okay. So that all tracks. It all tracks.
96.
We're obsessed with birds.
Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? My dog just ran
Oh,
in here.
what's his name?
His name is Maverick. Come here, dude. You
Maverick.
want to say hi? Ah, oh,
Oh,
there
there's
he
the
is.
handsome little snorting guy.
Yeah. Dude, you're
Hey,
cooped up
buddy.
in there all day.
I can't get too excited because then it'll
Oh,
wake my dog up. So I
go
gotta
on. There you go.
keep it
Go
keep it
back on
calm
your
here.
couch. I gave him a whole couch back there.
But yeah, we had a friend of ours tell us about that documentary probably a year and a half before we finally watched it one day. We were like, oh my God. It is just so
Unbelievable.
good. It's especially good for me because I've been what I call a bird nerd for the last several years and like love bird photography, my bird feeders, hummingbird feeders, bird baths. Like I'm looking at all of it right now as we're talking. And so to me, I was like, this is so funny and poking fun and just hilarious how they're doing it. But you could
Yeah.
also feel the passion. Like they were
Yeah.
also like getting so into it. And I was excited to see what birds they were seeing, but also laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
So well done. But yeah, when they come up with the one or come out with the one on the fishing, I cannot wait to see it because we have a great industry. There's just so many
Yeah.
great people. But I forget who I heard this from, but you've probably heard it too. We're compared like the size of the fly fishing industry, I think is smaller than the model train
Yes.
industry or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny how we all just think we're these big fish in this really small pond.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's an interesting world, but
It's
yeah.
super interesting, and it's happened very quick, like since COVID, I think. Like
Yeah, yeah.
once I think
It's
like
changed. It's really changed.
I
Yeah.
hate saying it this way, like my little brother's in private equity, but I think like once private equity got like heavily involved
Yeah.
in the whole like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, it changed a lot. And
Yeah. Which is yeah, anywhere they get their hands on things, it does
yeah.
change. Yep.
I was talking to my little brother about it, and he was like, dude, I'm not even, he's like, I don't want to get into like consumer private equity. Cause he's like 95% of the time, like when when these big firms get into like some of these companies, he's like, we've all seen it, like the quality
Mhm.
tanks. And then you
Yeah.
got a bunch of people running up, running to the reviews, and they're like, oh, this stinks. He's like, I keep my ass so far away from consumer private equity. And I was
Yeah.
like, thanks, dude.
Mhm. No, it's totally different. I mean, I think it's been 11 or 12 years now since I started fly fishing, but I was in the Instagram world. I think I joined in like 2012 or 2013. A coworker at Verizon convinced me to start an Instagram, like with my fishing stuff. He's like, "You need to get an Instagram account. This is awesome." And sure enough, like thanks to him, I've had so many opportunities through social media. But yeah, it was a totally different world. And now I just feel like everybody's fly fishing, which I
Yeah,
love. I think that's great. But I don't recognize more than like half the people that are out there.
same
Every
here.
day I'm online, there's some new personality that's fly fishing somewhere, which is great so long as they're
As
putting the
long as
right
they're
messages out there and respecting
exactly
fisheries and the environment. But yeah, it's a totally different world.
totally
And then
different.
there's the influencer world, which I don't follow too closely what's going on with that anymore. Um, I know like there were some really big fly fishing influencers, especially females, like back when I first started and on Instagram and they've all just kind of fallen to the wayside and I totally understand why. It's exhausting.
Dude,
But it's
there was a big age in the bass fishing industry too. Like I fished in
oh yeah.
college at East Carolina. There used to
Yeah.
be like a million of them. And then
Yeah.
like there was a really big one for like hook fishing.
Uh-huh.
And dude, like one of the bigger ones, like before influencers were really called influencers. And it
Yeah.
like fell off the face of the earth. Like everybody followed her. And then it just like hit a point where like nothing was posted.
Wow, yeah. That's kinda how it happens, I think.
Yeah.
We're
It
aging out, we're old news, or we just yeah. I never really got fully into the influencer thing, which, like, I used to be proud of, but now I'm like, "That was so stupid." Everyone else was at least making money sharing stuff online. I was not. I was very much I had a few brands I was kind of like an affiliate for, an ambassador for, and I don't think I was ever paid for a post or anything like that.
yeah.
I felt guilty. Being a people pleaser, it was so much for me to be affiliated with brands because I felt obligated to provide them with something
I'm
if
the
they sent
same
me
way.
free stuff. And now I'm like, I'm totally free. I don't do anything for anybody because I just want to enjoy fishing and enjoy traveling. And I don't want these big companies saving exponentially on their marketing budgets by taking advantage of my trips. It's such
Yeah.
a weird thing.
It is
It's
very
so weird.
weird. Like, don't get
Mhm.
me wrong, like, I have friends that do it, and, like, I have nothing against them.
Yeah, they're making money.
They're
I get it.
making crazy
Enjoy
money,
it.
dude, like, it's one of those things, but it's like, I'm the same way. It's like, if, like, I say, like, I'm an affiliate of, like, a company, that's the only thing I'm gonna wear, and, like, I've got
Yeah,
caught
don't
up
do
doing
that. I
that, and
wanna
I'm
wear
like
what I wanna wear. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been
Uh-huh.
sitting there, I was like, "Damn, dude," like, all my college fishing shirts from, like, AFCO and stuff like that, I was like, "I can't wear them
Yeah.
anymore," and I'm like, "I'd never wear them." And now I'm, like,
Oh.
starting to get back to that where I'm like, "Alright, I'm gonna start wearing AFCO stuff again."
Yeah, do what you want. When you start out, you definitely feel that. You're like, "I
Yeah.
can't get caught wearing this. I can't get caught at a marshwear event," and it's like, nobody cares. It's
Yeah,
okay.
nobody
You
cares.
will.
I do, like I was very much so like that, like, not recently, but, like, few years back, especially during, like,
Yeah.
college and then, like, stuff like that. I'm like, now I'm just gonna wear kinda what I want. And I
Good
just
for
like, you
you.
know what? I'm not getting paid to wear the shit. I'm like, might as well just
Yeah.
wear what I want these days.
Well, and there's just so many apparel brands out
There
there
is.
now. And that was part of why, so when I was gosh, I think like 3 years in, I started Bre Drake Co., my graphic design work in 2021. And I think a few years in, I was really starting to like notice the over consumerism in general, then also in the fly fishing world, like just swag at every single event, and
Yeah.
then realizing like, what is my contribution to this? Like, I'm creating designs that are going on all this stuff that's just getting mass produced and probably in a pile in someone's closet that's eventually going to end up in a landfill forever. So I was like starting to feel this discomfort contributing to that too. And that's where, like, for a brief period, I had decided I didn't want to completely step away from graphic design. I loved it, but what could I do to put my work on things that were going to last, like heirloom type stuff that
Yeah.
people weren't just going to use for a season and throw away. So that's for a brief period. I started a home goods business called Drake House Goods, where I
Oh,
had
cool.
all these big plans. Um, but that was just another big piece in me leaving the graphic design world like that. And then, my dog's putting me on a completely different path. That was my purpose in life here. I am so fulfilled doing what I do now, helping people with their dogs. Um, but yeah, it just really gets me thinking about how much the fly fishing industry, while we're so conservation minded, like we're a big part of the
Yeah.
problem too. And then that's across all industries. Like no one's completely guilty. It's just how the world works. Everyone's trying to make their money. But I just think there's ways we can maybe try to do better in that sense
100%.
too.
Dude, like, you
Yeah.
got a lot of people that wear, like a TU
Wow.
hat, but it's like, then you see them throwing beer cans in a corner of a wild trout stream. I'm like, dude, pick up the fucking
Exactly.
cans. Like,
I know.
don't be an
I know.
asshole.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
where
But
where are you looking to go with the dog stuff? That sounds really interesting.
oh gosh. Yeah.
Can you immortalize my Boston Terrier?
I will try my very best. No, I before my 2 guys got cancer, like, I had just started kinda dipping my toes into, like, switching them to fresh food and exploring, like, the flea and tick preventatives and all of that stuff. I was already kinda there, and then they got diagnosed with cancer, and I had kinda started sharing that stuff a little bit on my Bre Drake personal page, But I decided, most people are here because of fly fishing adventures, like to see my dogs, and like they're not here to be force fed this information. That I found that there's people who are really receptive and really curious, like you, and want to just know how they can do better. And then there's people who just take a lot of offense to it. So I started a completely different Instagram, and I'll give it to you if you want to put it in the show notes
for
in case
sure.
anyone's like, I want my dog to live forever.
I do.
And I'm not making promises on that. I just think they could be living better lives. And goodness, the rate at which our dogs are getting cancer is like 5 times, at 5 times the rate humans are getting cancer. It's really bad, and it kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier, like just the planet, trashing the planet with chemicals and in numerous ways. And then we're over medicating them and feeding them dead food. It's just, there's a whole bunch of things stacked against our dogs, and they could live such better lives and potentially longer. So I started this account. I guess it's coming up on 2 years ago, but it grew exponentially. Like, it has a really significant following, and it kind of caught me off guard how fast it's grown. But I've been building out education. I've got products and things available, and I'm just furthering my education in holistic care and homeopathic care. It's all really cool stuff.
That's
I won't go
awesome.
into too much detail because people might just glaze over, but yeah, sorry, the sun
Just
is really blinding me right now.
you got me thinking, dude. So like my parents had two Boston Terriers.
Yeah.
One of them just like he lived until he was like 17. Super, super, super long life.
Yeah.
And then they had another one that just recently, like, we saw him a couple weeks back, and my mom called me. She's like, "Hey, like, Chance isn't doing well," and it was like a snap of a finger. He just
How old is he?
He was 10.
Okay. Yeah.
He was 10. I was like, damn, like, I saw him 2 weeks ago, and it was like he was running around. We were telling him to settle down every 10 seconds.
I know. Yeah, I'm glad to have planted the seed with you and anyone else that's listening, because it's a lot. I know when I first started learning, there's a book that changed everything. I haven't read it in a few years, so I might not agree with everything that's in it, but it's called The Forever Dog. And that was kind of what opened my eyes up. It's similar. It parallels what's going on in the human medical world.
Okay.
It's kind of trickled down to our dogs, where there's just a lot of big evil corporations profiting off of keeping animals sick and keeping you in and out of the vet. And yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It's interesting. I know.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's something I know that I had never really thought about. Like, I had 2 golden retrievers. I didn't really go to the vet that often or anything. They needed their flea and tick meds, so I took them to get their vaccines updated, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, it's just never something I thought about. But then when my older girl was starting to slow down, I got the recommendation to try acupuncture. So I went to this vet that also specialized in traditional Chinese veterinary medicine. And she sat down and talked to me for like 45 minutes before she even started doing the acupuncture. I'm like, this is a weird vet appointment. Like, she's actually like talking to me about what's going on in my dog's life, what she eats. So that was my first epiphany. I'm like, this is awesome. Vets exist and they actually care this much. And she convinced me to start feeding like half fresh food, half kibble. Our older girl was just like so stiff and slowing down. I think she was only 10 and a half. And I just felt like she wasn't going to make it much longer. Like, she couldn't jump in the truck, didn't want to walk up the stairs. So with the acupuncture once a month and then just switching half of the food to fresh food, she was like a new dog.
Oh, wow.
So I was an immediate believer just based on the food alone. And then I just started going down, reading and listening to podcasts and reading research. And it's just opened up an entirely different world.
That's pretty cool. Now, you have podcasts for holistic dog stuff? That's really cool.
I do. I started. I know it's so strange. Like, I've had some major career jumps and I used to be kind of embarrassed by that, but I think it's a good quality when you can really just pivot and see doors that open and just follow that and know, like, hey, this is where I'm being called to do right now. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And yeah, fortunately reaching people all over the world. And like I said, it's something that I've just become fully fascinated with and could study forever. So yeah, the podcast is called Love Your Dogs. It's so funny. Wilds, he's gonna get a kick out of this. He always jokes around and calls it "love your dongs." I'm like, please stop. Like, don't make fun of my nickname. But yeah, it's "love your dogs." I said that just immediately made me think of it. Yeah, I have about 20 or so episodes out. And it's really good. It's a good place to start for people who are curious. Like, I kind of walk through a little bit of what I just told you about my journey with my guys, and then kind of everything I've learned and what I implemented. And then after 5 or so episodes, I start bringing in these amazing experts and vets from all over the country. And
That's
it's really
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it
That's
is
really
cool.
cool.
It's nerdy and it's something I never imagined I'd be doing, but I love dogs. They've always been such a big part of my life. And, our older girl, she was almost 13 when we had to put her down with her cancer. She made it about 9 months or so post diagnosis. But our 8.5-year-old boy, like
Oh my
we were
gosh.
traveling out west a couple years ago and had to take him to an emergency vet appointment, found out he had this really aggressive cancer, and he was gone 6 weeks later.
Jeez.
So I'm like, that I couldn't swallow. Like a golden living the 13, while it's still not great, our large breed dogs used to live closer to 2 decades. Smaller breed dogs like yours used to live closer to 3 decades. So we're just
Yeah.
seeing their lifespans like slowly get shorter and shorter. I'm just not okay with losing a dog. And I talk to people all over the world who are losing dogs to cancer at like 2 years old, 10 months old, 4 months old,
That is
just happening
nuts.
earlier and earlier.
Yeah. Like
So
he's
obviously
5.
breeding plays in, and which is not entirely the whole picture. A lot of it's environmental. Like so
Yeah.
much of it, just like us, like so much of it is disconnection from nature. That's why fly fishing is so good for humans, because it gets us out in these beautiful places outside. And a lot of dogs just unfortunately don't get to live a life really connected to nature. And then we're
Right.
like pumping them full of vaccines and kibble and flea and tick meds, which are neurotoxins basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot there.
This is like
I'm really passionate about it,
he
but
takes Simparica Trio, and I'm like, and they always say like, dude, people can take Simparica Trio too. I'm like, then why the hell am I giving my dog fucking Simparica Trio?
exactly, that is a perfect way to explain it. It's literally neurotoxins that are designed to target the nervous system of pests. But when dogs are like stressed and malnourished and have other issues going on, like it can cross the blood-brain barrier and affect their brain. So it
Yeah.
it does cause seizures in dogs, especially when it's given like their whole lives. Like the longer it's used, the more likely it can lead to that. Combined with just age in general. Like our older girl, she started having seizures. I was giving them Bravecto, which is a similar product
I
in the
gotcha.
same drug class. But yeah, you'll
That's
have to, if you're curious, you'll have to dive down, but just go
I'll
slow because it'll overwhelm you and probably piss you off because you're like, wait a minute, my dog
no.
is so important to me. This
Mm,
sucks.
dude, yeah, my dog is important to me. We go on a
Yeah,
weekly trip we go to like a fly shop, go to Bass Pro sometimes. He goes everywhere with
yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's good. That's
But
good. And like with all those bad things that we're doing, like what it really comes down to is just how loved they are, the connection, like being in a stress-free home too is really important.
oh
I
yeah.
know like when my guys were diagnosed, like the further on this health journey I get, when my guys were diagnosed with cancer and going through all that, like I was going through something that had me more stressed than usual. And I think that played in a lot too. They're so emotionally attuned to us. So
Oh
they really
yeah.
feel everything that we're feeling. So I think that plays a really huge role. Like they need to feel safe. They need us to be calm and stress free. So in addition to like being inside more, we're so busy and so stressed all the time, so fight or flight all the time. And they feel that. So there's just a
Right.
combination of things that are stacked against these poor guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's really all I got for the hard hitting questions. So my
Yeah.
last question is
Yeah.
always, so I have a running Spotify playlist,
Okay.
and I give 6 songs and then you give six
Oh,
songs. You can
okay.
text them to me if you don't have them on the top of your head, because I don't
Okay.
have 6 songs today.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be able to give them to you off the top of
Okay.
my head. I will
Yeah.
definitely give you 6 songs. I
Yeah, you're
love that.
yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
I'm a huge music head, and it's like
Yeah,
I listened to so much of it. I was like, and I kind of realized that like the fly fishing goes kind of like hand in
yeah,
hand with music. Like I listened to literally everything. Like I was
yep.
listening to Olivia Dean earlier, and then I clicked it on shuffle, and it went to a Grateful Dead song, Allman
Okay.
Brothers, and then Sabrina.
Yeah.
I listened to it all.
Good. Yeah, that's me too. My music taste is all over the place. I love, I always going to Mexico on the women's trip, we're off the grid all day long, no service. So I love building these big downloaded playlists
Yeah,
with all kinds of random music on it. Yeah.
that's my favorite thing. Is like I got a
I
couple
know.
that are like 1,500 songs. Like
Yeah, music is the best.
I love it.
Gosh, when I first started going to the Palmetto Club on that women's trip, or I guess I've been on several different women's trips, but I've been going pretty much every year since 2020. Um, and we didn't always have the speakers on the Pangas. And there's also like this language barrier,
Yeah.
which can make things kind of awkward, but you still have fun. The music, the year we started having turtle boxes down there just changed everything.
Oh, I
Because
bet.
we would connect so much with the guides through the music. Like, it was so interesting that this Mexican guide is like loves heavy metal American music. And, like, it was just so much fun. It really elevates the whole experience to have music. And then I always love like letting the guides hook up to the turtle box, like play whatever you want, like learning
Yeah,
new music from them. Yeah,
I
music
bet
is the
that is
best.
pretty cool.
It is really cool.
But
Yeah.
that is all I got for you today. I'll have
Yeah.
like a little graphic up at the end of the week with the 6 songs and all that stuff. And
Okay.
yeah, I greatly appreciate you for coming on today. I actually have to click stop to let the
Yeah.
tracks upload. Any
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
thanks
Yeah.
or plugs you want to give? That's usually my last question.
Oh gosh. No, I think I covered everything. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
click stop here.
Okay.
Well, that was our interview with Bre Drake. What a cool episode. I mean, we got a little bit of everything in there. If you liked that episode, if you like listening to these, go leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. That helps me out greatly. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It will be at the end of the video on YouTube. There's just like a fucking subscribe button or something like that if you want to subscribe, if you like this shit. If you don't, give it a subscribe. Shoot, half the time I wouldn't subscribe to myself if I'm being completely honest. But also give it a 5-star review on Spotify. Probably doesn't deserve it, but if you feel so inclined to, be greatly appreciated. But thank you guys for listening always. Best time of the year is about around the corner. It's almost time to make our college football picks and predictions. I don't want anybody hitting me up talking about that I'm selling their parlay this year. I got a bunch of people being like, dude, you sold my parlay. Fuck, I'm not giving you parlay advice. I mean, I'm just making my college picks. I'm not fucking Kirk Herbstreit. But we'll get back to that. I mean, you can always fade me. You can always fade me at the end of the day. But thank you guys for listening. Leave a review. Thanks again.